It's so exciting, right? When you start a new job, you look forward to it. I want you to be able to set yourself up on the right note. So for day one, you make the right first impression. Make sure you know a little bit more about the organization, so you're not asking questions that are easily found online. Complete any paperwork, and then make sure you schedule anything you need to do before your new job starts. So if there are any appointments you need to have, getting a haircut, get your clothes ready the night before, know the directions if you're driving somewhere. So the morning of, you're ready in a good mood and able to start your journey there on the right note. You'll meet people with a variety of different personalities. Pay attention and learn what those are so that you can adapt your style to those. I'm sure you've had times in your life where you just can't conflict with somebody, even though they're fine and you're fine and you both know each other are fine, but you just don't get along. A lot of it's just basic personality stuff. If you can be in tune to the people that you meet and recognize their personality and their style preferences, then you can adjust so that you're able to communicate, get your point across in a way that will inspire them to want to communicate with you. So understand your own personality traits and style, and then work to understand others. If you do have personality conflicts, it's generally best to keep those to yourself. It can look kind of immature to not be able to get along with people for basic reasons. So it'd be great if you are able to seek to understand people better and look for the connections so that you can connect with people on a regular basis. Go to strengths.com, and then it says MBS survey. That's Management by Strengths, and you can take the survey for free. That's an easy way for you to understand people better. And then you're armed and ready to work with people no matter who they are. Office politics or workplace politics, it gets a bad name because people use it like for backstabbing and negativity, and people look to play a game so they can rise up. So my philosophy on it is do your best work. And if you're talented and you're contributing to the organization, you will be in the right places at the right time. And you can advocate for yourself. Every workplace has rules, of unwritten rules of what it takes to get along there and get things done. And especially when you're new, watch for who supports each other. What does that look like? Observe how and when to speak up. So in meetings, don't be the first one to speak up. Watch and see who does and how often and how are they received. As the new person, you have a great opportunity to observe how everyone else is interacting and being treated. And your phrase you can use at the beginning is, I'm new here. I'm just trying to meet everyone and figure it all out. That's all you need to say. Be trustworthy and look for opportunities of mutual benefit. When you have trust, politics isn't as hard. Stay true to your values because it's just rules. If you've played sports, you watch sports, there's rules, and that's just how it goes. So many organizations now are getting rid of even cubicles and just having long tables and workspaces, and it's on loan to you. That is not your personal property. Company owns it. Treat it accordingly. It's an honor to get to be invited there and to use the space and work with the people. So a couple tips on your workspace, whatever it is. First, keep it clean. Make sure it stays organized and clean. Take a look as you're new and see how do other people treat their workspace. How do the higher level people, your manager, their manager, how do they treat their workspace? That will give you a clue of what's expected and what's considered respectable in the office. A second one in the workplace and cubicle environment. So don't be too loud. That's very distracting. And then it causes people to wear earbuds or headphones, and then they're not as able or open for interaction. So make sure you watch your volume. And especially if you stop by somebody's desk or area where they're working to just say hello, to get to know them or have a greeting or talk about the game from yesterday or something like that. Make sure you're not being too loud when you're socializing, and understand your manager's style. Any manager that you're talking with, understand what their preference is. If you're paying attention to that tool that I gave you and you look it up, and you'll see that there's directness is a style. And directness means that manager wants you to come in, ask your question, get to the point, and then maybe socialize or chat about the weekend at the end. As somebody that is on one of the other styles, that they're more social than more extroverted, they will want to talk about the weekend first, about last night's game first, and then get to work. It's important that you recognize their styles and treat them according to that. A tip here is just recognize it and then just think about it quickly before you walk into their office or their meeting or wherever you're talking, even going onto Zoom, and then they're going to be more open to you. Another one is to understand what their goals are. So what do they need? For example, they delegate something to you, ask how will this be used afterwards? So if they ask you to set up a display in a certain part of a business, or they ask you to do a market report, you can ask them, who will use this report? How is it going to be used? Who's the display supposed to attract. So ask a few more questions, because then you can anticipate ways to do it better or go a little bit further, go the extra mile, as they say. No manager wants to hear from somebody else when there's been a mistake. So make sure you prevent surprises to your manager. Give them a heads up if something went wrong. Just go and say what it was, how you fixed it, and how it'll be avoided in the future. Make sure you use their time well. So you have an agenda when you go into their meeting. You have a list of topics you want to talk about and get to the point about those. Make sure you're not bringing to the manager something that you could find on your own. So don't keep things secret from your manager, but be aware of the level of detail they want to know. So you're not copying them on every email that you send or inviting them to every meeting. Certainly all of these tips are relevant for people, no matter how long you've worked with a manager. So when you're new, you might not click right away. You might not get along the greatest, and you might be trying to figure them out. It's okay to ask people about your manager style. So you could say, what do you think Joe prefers for formality as far as reports? Can they be bullet points, or does Joe prefer spelled out paragraphs in detail? Here's a tool that you might think about creating for your first 30 days. Just write a chart and think of what you need to do each week. For your first 30 days, you get to be the new person. Ask a lot of questions and say, I'm new here, so I don't quite understand. Can you please repeat that process? That's the first time I've heard about it. Let me try it and understand while you're watching, that kind of thing. You get to do all of that when you're the new person. They hired you for a reason. That's the only thing you need for your confidence. Know you're confident because of who you are, and bring that in, and the energy and the enthusiasm. And that's it. Be true to who you are because they hired you. So that's great enough. And nobody expects you to be any kind of expert in what they're doing on the first day. They see a place for you. So even if you don't have it figured out, that's okay. Be true to yourself and trust that, and bring your energy. Everybody likes that energy on the first day.